Hey everyone, today we are playing some Gruul Aggro. The goal of the deck is to play cheap creatures with either oil counters or +1/+1 counters and then use some synergies to make them bigger and too difficult for our opponent to deal with. In terms of the oil counters, we do run Evolving Adaptive and Migloz Maze Crusher, and in terms of the +1/+1 counters, Ascendant Packleader and Quirion Beastcaller can both get them naturally. We can also get more +1/+1 counters on our creatures thanks to Kumano faces Kakkazan, Thundering Raiju, and Halana and Alena, and more counters on our permanents in general thanks to Bloated Contaminator. Remember that Bloated Contaminator, when it proliferates, we can do both the oil counter and the +1/+1 counter, so Evolving Adaptive, for example, would actually get +2/+2. That's the deck in a nutshell. Let's see if we can get some fast wins or if it's just a Gruul world after all. Alright, we start today at Plat 4. We've been in Plat 4 for a while, playing a couple of decks that aren't great for climbing, but really good once you're up there. Let's see if we can change our fate today. We will keep this 7. Phoenix check, sure. In theory, and it is just a theory, we win this matchup. But let's see how it goes. We'll play the Evolving Adaptive on 1. We don't really need to play Kumano faces Kakkazan just yet. We might see a Play with Fire come down. Yep, that makes sense. Alright, if we can force them to use their things on... If we can force them to use their removal on our creatures and not on us, we could be in for a good one. There's Felden. We're not going to block. We'll go down to 13. There's a Mishra's Foundry. We do need to play the Karplusan Forest here so that we can play the Thundering Raiju next turn if we have to. Not going to attack here. We are on the defense. Our opponent's got us down to 13 with 3 cards in hand. I will just block with the Quirion Beastcaller here. I'll let them dig for 3 cards. Let's have a look. Kumano face Kakkazan. Oh, Bloodthirsty Adversary. They can only choose one. Good news, everyone, I guess. They can only choose one of those. They take the Kumano faces Kakkazan, so that will put us down to 11. And the Bloodthirsty Adversary as well, which they had anyway. There's a mountain. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's play the... Oh, this is an interesting one. Let's play the Kumano faces Kakkazan. And then I want to play the Yavimaya not kit. No, I don't want to do that, actually. We'll go to combat. I'll attack with the Bloated Contaminator. Down to 15. I'll proliferate the Quirion Beastcaller, the Kumano faces Kakkazan, and them. Means that the +1/+1 counter comes down. So I'm going to play the Yavimaya Iconoclast. So that comes down with a +1/+1 counter. Feeling pretty good. That can block there. And let me see. Yeah, we are on the defense, so we're on 11. Let's force them to use all their stuff. Yeah, we knew that lightning strike was coming. 15. Yeah, we have won this. Yeah, we'll take no risks. Down to 6. Go to combat, attack with everything. Put the counter on the Kumano. There we go. Gruul beats mono red. Usually. Opponent goes first again. This is an okay hand. It's not the best. Because we have Quirion Beastcaller into Quirion Beastcaller, it's probably correct that our turn 1 is mounting Kumano faces Kakkazan into turn 2 Quirion Beastcaller. That's my thinking. We'll keep. Another mono red. Gotta love it. If that's the case, We probably want to do a different sequence of events, but I still think Kumano is correct. Turn 2, we can play the Evolving Adaptive. Thundering Raiju, okay. Yeah, we could play the Evolving Adaptive on 2. We do have Lightning Strike. This isn't fun. What if they have Lightning Strike? It's a difficult one. I could play the Quirion Beastcaller, make a 3/3, force them to have Lightning Strike. If you have the Evolving Adaptive, it's 2/2. So we could potentially trade, but then they get to look at 4 cards. What's the wording on this? Until the end of your next turn. It's a really tough one. Let's force them to have the answers. Because if they don't have the answers, then we're in trouble. Monstrous Whisper, okay. Oh my days, yeah. And I'm afraid on this day, they just have everything. They only have 2 cards in hand. So I could Evolving Adaptive into Quirion Beastcaller pass, but I can also play with Fire Lightning Strike pass. It's a really tough one. Karplusan Forest is definitely the correct play. I will... Yeah, I guess I do just have to Lightning Strike this. And because... Wow. That's a lot of good stuff. We'll just have to play with fire this now. We are probably just dead. We are probably just dead at this point. Yep, there's Phoenix Chick. Lightning Strike the face. Go to 6. Go to 5. There's Bloated Contaminator. There's Quirion Beastcaller. I have 2 blockers, so that's okay. Another Phoenix Chick. Down to 1. Yeah, this isn't going to do it, is it? I can put this down. I attack for 8. Goes to 9. Yeah. Unfortunate. Like, our opponent got off to a really fast start, and there's an argument that we should have just Lightning Striked the Feldon when we had the chance. But it is what it is. Going first, not the greatest hand in the world. It's a pretty good hand, but there's some very interesting sequences that we need to just be aware of. We will start with the Kumano face Kakkazan so that we can play Evolving Adaptive into Evolving Adaptive. Looking good. Going to 19, but that's okay. Next turn we can attack for 5 because obviously the etching of Kumano does good stuff for us. Thalia. To the shock of absolutely no one. That's not hanging around. Yep, there we go. I'm going to assume that was Esper Legends. What did my opponent have? Otawara, Shatter Sanctum. Yeah, that's Esper Legends, 100%. Game 4, we are on the draw again. We'll keep this. Always interesting whether you should go with the Kumano or the Evolving Adaptive on turn 1. I'm going to go with the Kumano simply because it means that Quirion Beastcaller immediately gets a +1/+1 counter on. See what they do here. Nothing. Let's change it up. I don't really want the Quirion Beastcaller to get countered. Yeah. So, just going to play another Kumano face Kakkazan instead. Could do with the land here. Yep. Don't get it. We will attack here. We'll play the Quirion. Pass the turn. Usually I don't advocate for people playing Hortigin without any backup, but on this occasion, because you know you're up against mono red, it's understandable. I'm going to attack with everything again. See what they want to do here. It's easy to negate this, by the way. Step out the back. Step out the back on my creature. Okay. Not sure I would have done that. But will you do you? Continuing to put our opponent under pressure. Down to 5. Would be nice if we could draw a third land for starters would be great. There's a backup Hortigin. By the way, in case there's any doubt, I am running 24 land. I am running 24 land. So there it is. I still play it pre-combat because that's still something you do. I'm going to attack with everything here. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked with everything and just attacked with the Quirion Beastcaller. Impulse. By the way, next turn, if I draw a land, I do, but it's not the one I wanted. 5/4. Okay. Can only activate. No, I can do multiple things. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Let's attack with everything. First for discovery. Yeah, not a problem. They do have to block both. Something they cannot avoid. Sure. That works for me. Hopefully they don't have an Essence Scatter. Scatter Ray. Ooh. That's a good card. At this stage, I am just going to play the land. I'm going to play the Thundering Raiju as well. I've dealt with... Yeah, there's a Make Disappear. I've dealt with 2 Hortigins. Solarian Tower would be unfortunate. Delver's been a thing. Let's do this. Let's do this. Just kind of sad. Oh, mono blue. They will find a Solarian Tower at some point. Okay. Make Disappear. Yeah. Ah. Down to 4. Slowly but surely. They've probably got this, by the way. Draw a land, Flow of Knowledge. There's Solarian Terror. There's Bloated Contaminator. I'm not going to attack here. Last turn. Another Fading Hope. Fading Hope is a thing. Yep. Oh, this is... My opponent has had unsurrendered everything because that's how mono blue is. The fact we weren't able to draw our lands when we needed them. Yeah, no blocks, which means they've got something else. Let's do this again. No one's surprised by this. No one is surprised by this. We'll play the Evolving Adaptive back. Flow of Knowledge. You shouldn't be playing more than one Flow of Knowledge. Yeah, not sure about that one, Chief. Opponent's gone through their entire deck. Yeah. Yeah. Just going to attack. It's over. It is what it is. Going first, not the greatest, but we'll keep it. Karplusan into Mountain, then turn 2 Karplusan into Hajar, into turn 3 Bloated Contaminator should do it. Cool. Again, where necessary, don't reveal more colours than you need to. Is it naming Soldier? Interesting. Yeah, end the turn. Thalia. Sure. Another land. We will attack. Think you're blocking. Interesting. Yeah, now we play the Bloated Contaminator. And end the turn. What could they have? Root Cathar. Unfortunate. Yep. Sure. 17. My rel would be super unfortunate, wouldn't it? Let's put them under a clock. Down to 12. Next turn I have Migloz. And the great thing is, not only do I have Migloz, I also have... Yeah, my rel knew that was coming. Go on, attack with Thalia. Coward. Yeah, okay, let's play the Migloz. Yeah, use this. Oh, I could put them on lethal, couldn't I? I'm on 17, yeah. Let's do this. Yeah. Sure, down to 7. End the turn. What are they going to do? I could give... There's a few things I can do, actually. I can give Migloz Vigilance and Menace. I can destroy an artifact or enchantment. Yeah, they're going to create 2 tokens. That's fine. No blocks. Another Myrel. It's just I could really do with any removal. Any removal whatsoever. That is not removal. However, I do have another one of these. Everything's attacking. The reason everything's attacking is because Halana has first strike, and if they let the Migloz through, I can kill them with Kumano faces. Kakkazan. Hooray! Hooray! Screw you, soldiers! Yeah! Opponent going first. We will keep this. It's 4 lands, so we get to hit our land drops, but Quirion Beastcaller into Migloz into Halana and Alena is too good to ignore. Reckon a Bankbuster. This could be domain, you know. We will find out, though. We will find out. Yeah, looks like domain to me. Because we are playing... Leyline Binding. Yep, sure. Fable. Yep. Do you know what my card does? Opponent? Do you know I can do this? Don't think they did. Play fire this. They do now. They do now. Yeah, 100% the correct call to destroy the artifact and enchantment whilst you can. 3/3. Yeah, Fabled Mirror Breaker. Get to proliferate. Good for you. 2 cards in hand. Cool. Yeah, play Halana and Alena now. Give myself Vigilance and Menace. Yeah, why not? You have to use the Contagious Virtue to queue up the Reckoner Bankbuster. Yeah. Cool, down to 10. Next turn, I can play the Bloated Contaminator and the Yavimaya Iconoclast. Nice Strangle. Opponent's only got 2 cards. There's an argument I killed the Kiki-Jiki there. Okay. Do this. I don't do this. I will simply attack. If you want double block, they both go onto the Bloated Contaminator. So they need a... Yeah, they figure it out. Down to 8, end the turn. Feeling pretty good at this point. I will play it with Kicker. Play the Hajar as well. See what they want to do here. Finding a lot of land, aren't they? Go to blockers. Don't find a Leyline Binding. Okay. I am not going to proliferate the Kumano face Kakkazan, because if they wipe, I want to be able to keep that as it is. We will end the turn. A Traxor would be disastrous. Never in doubt, was it? Never in doubt. Let's see what they can find. Not enough! Oh, that was a close one. That was a really close one. There's definitely some questions about sequencing. But even if they go back up to 8, I bring in the Etching of Kumano. And I think that is just about enough for lethal. They can block here. They block here. 4, 9, 11. They only gain 7. Yeah. Good enough for me. We go first. We don't have a great hand here. It might look fine on paper, but we have no real proactive turn 1 play. Turn 2 and then no real proactive turn 3 play. So we're going to mulligan this. This is better, so we're going to keep it. I'm not entirely happy with the hand, because it's as good as you can get for a 6. But 2 Karplusan Forest isn't great. But we'll see how it goes. Well, it looks like we're up against mono red. So these Karplusan Forests are going to... They're going to make a difference. But we'll see. Down to 18. If they lightning strike that Hajar, that's fine. Now, in terms of in terms of growth of our creatures, if you wanted to get as much value out of the evolving adaptive as possible, turn 3 is that's a good play by them. Turn 3 would be Yavimaya Iconoclast. But now that's not the case. Okay. I'm going to attack here. I'll play this Bloated Contaminator. Make them think that I got it off the top. Well, I did, but make them think that I don't have another one. Reckless Stormseeker. Sure thing. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool, there's Migloz. Yeah. Migloz is good here. Gonna swing for 7. I get to proliferate. I would be very surprised if my opponent attacked here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Well, it's nice to finally be on the play against Mono Red. I think that I played that pretty well. As I said, there's some very interesting decisions you can make there, and getting each point of damage out, short term versus long term, is not always the most obvious play. Alright, opponent goes first. We have a turn 1 play into a turn 2 play, but after that, not much. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a much better 6. Because we have a nice curve, I'm actually going to put Kumano faces Kakkazan to the bottom. A little bit controversial, but I think the 3 lands plus... I think the 3 lands plus a draw means that the Kumano can go. We have a good curve. What's Kumano going to do? Not a lot. Now, last time we did this, my opponent got depopulate on turn 4. So it would be nice if that didn't happen. Wedding announcement, sure. Rockfall Vale, Bloated Contaminator. Attack with everything. Pass the turn. Ambitious fun. Okay. It's looking promising. It's no guarantees. It's looking promising. Ossification. Fine. Sokenzan. Thundering Raiju. Down to 10. Please don't have depopulate. Don't have it. Oh. Backup wedding announcement. Sure. It's looking good. Target a creature you control. You're gonna crew the Bankbuster? Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah, that puts me on. That puts them on 2. Just give them indestructible. It does. Farewell would just be so annoying. All right, it's looking good. Quirion Beastcaller. Okay, that's not going to do anything for me here. Yeah. I was going to attack with everything. If they try and crew up the Bankbuster, I destroy it with the 3 oil counters. That's what I was trying to say. Didn't mean to rope my opponent, but yeah, victory! So this is how the deck did. I had one of those days when I went on the draw a lot against fast aggressive starts a lot. I went 7-9. I played 16 games over the course of, what's my recording at now? 80 minutes. So I got a lot of games in, and I got, there were just few games where it was determined by if I was on the play or on the draw, and I was on the draw a lot. In fact, of those 16 games, I was on the draw for 10 of them. It's really hard when you have these sorts of runs where you're on the draw and you're losing to like mono red, even though the deck's really good against mono red. But when mono red gets one of those obliteratingly fast starts, there's nothing you can do about it. Or when you're up against mono black and they get one of those really fast starts and there's not a lot you can do about it. This deck is not going to... If you're seeing a lot of that, do not play this deck. Simply because there's no guarantee that this deck can stop those fast starts. That, for the simple reason, there isn't enough removal. There's only 2 play with fire and 2 lightning strikes. That's it, because we have to make room for so many other things that are fast. If you wanted to add more removal, you could take out the Ascendant Packleaders, you could take out the Yavimaya Iconoclast and replace them with Play with Fire and Lightning Strike respectively. So if we were like that, for example, we could do this, and then we're not so reliant on forests anymore, so we could cut a few forests and do this instead, as an example. But then it's like, oh, you're not running as many creatures for the Evolving Adaptive, etc, etc. Bloated Contaminator is still one of the best 3-drops in Standard right now. Creature 3-drops in Standard right now. We didn't get to see it to its full potential. I did make a couple of mistakes with regards to sequencing. I will be the first to say that. You do want to play the Bloated Contaminator before you play the Migloz, so that you can get as much proliferate off as possible. Thundering Raiju and Halana were both really good cards. I was a big fan of both of them. I am a big fan of Halana and Alena in general. I think not as many people are playing them as they should be. And I think Thundering Raiju in this sort of shell is where you are running multiple modified creatures is really good. I think in other decks where you're not running as many opportunities to get oil counters or +1/+1 counters, I don't think it's as good, but people still play it and are getting results. But for me personally, I'm just not seeing it at the moment. But it's a fun deck. The Kumano face Kakkazan is an interesting one. I think that you should definitely be playing this, but I was often finding myself going, but where in my sequence do I play the Kumano faces Kakkazan, right? Because you want to play Kumano faces Kakkazan into Quirion Beastcaller, but you also want to get the Evolving Adaptive down as soon as possible so that you can go Evolving Adaptive into Quirion Beastcaller. So the question is, do you want to have a 2/2 and a 2/2, or do you want to have something that's about to become a 2/2 next turn with haste and a 3/3? It's a real tough one, and I think there's definitely debate there as to what the correct sequencing is. It depends on what's in your hand, but it's not just a mindless 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop kind of deck. You do really need to adjust your strategy. Sideboard, a lot of people still playing Feldon, Random Excavator. In this sort of deck, it's a good card. I strongly suggest you check it out. Reckless Stormseeker at the moment, I think, is too slow, which sounds amazing because it effectively is a 3-mana 3/3 with haste. The problem is that it's not like Squee Dubious Monarch, which is a 3-mana 2/2, but it can create a wider board presence, and the token sticks around even if you kill Squee afterwards, or even if your opponent kills Squee afterwards. But I think right now, Bloated Contaminator and Migloz are both better than Squee. Kami's Flare is a really interesting one. I think that it's good removal. And if you control a modified creature, which is basically every creature in the deck, has the potential to modify something, it's really good. It's not so good if you don't have a modified creature, but that's quite rare. But it does happen, so I know people play Lightning Strike at the moment for the flexibility, but check out Calm Flare and see if that is a better card for you. Shiver Devastator is just a nice finisher. You might want to play one or two of those in your deck, but I personally prefer the power of Halana and Alena. I think it's between those two. Tyvar's Stand gives you some protection, but I think that's for an entirely different deck. One card that isn't there, but I do want to talk about is the Monumental Facade. The reason why the Monumental Facade is not in this deck is simply because we're quite color intense, right? We're playing Hajar that requires 2 colors. We're playing Migloz, which requires 2 colors, which has 2 pips. Thundering Raiju with 2 red pips. Alena, 2 pips. If we weren't playing such mana intense cards, I think we can play this to try and modify our creatures. I do have a deck with Monumental Facade in it in the future, but today is not that day. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. If you are looking for a deck to climb with at the moment, the one I always recommend is Mono Red Burn, which you can find here. I will see you tomorrow, but in the meantime, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye bye!